Have you already spoken to the renaming?
Feel free to repeat us for just joining.
Sounds good. For those of you that are just joining, Jessie just put a little note in the chat function just to rename yourself so that we can make sure we're in breakout groups made up of activators, ventures, and guests. So just put an A, a V, or a G, depending on what category you fall into. So excited to have you all here. And people are still logging in. We're getting there. We're getting there. Jessie, if you just want to give me a thumbs up when we're sort of reaching some of those numbers, let me know and we can dive in and get started.
We're at 65, 68. I think we can get started though.
Keep going. Yeah. Keep going. Yeah. Great. Sounds good. Welcome everyone. So excited to have everyone here today. We have a jam-packed call today with some incredible folks. Guests, welcome to this incredible community at SheEO. We're so happy that you're here with us today. We are going to learn a little bit about SheEO, get into some breakout groups, share with each other, hear a bit from ventures, hear from some of our activators in this community. So thrilled to have you all here. If you are joining, just logging in, please, if you could rename yourself, you can click on the 3 dots in your little video icon for activator, guest, or venture, A, V, or G. That will just help us make sure we have groups that are comprised of everyone who's logging in today. So wherever you are calling in from today, across Turtle Island, I invite you to acknowledge and share gratitude for the land we call home that has been inhabited by Indigenous peoples from the beginning. I invite folks here, we use the chat function a lot, to type into the chat function the land that you're calling in from, in the spirit of learning and sharing. I am here in Toronto. My name is Julia Bubrin. I am an activator here in Toronto, and I'm thrilled to be participating in this call today. I'm calling in from the traditional territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat people. And if this is new to some of you, well, welcome to the journey of learning and growth that is SheEO. This activator community continues to come together on a weekly basis. We've come together in many ways before the quarantining and pandemic crisis, but we've really come together with a new intentionality week to week to share and practice what we call radical generosity. And we will talk a little bit more about that today. If we are going to truly uplift, support, and embolden each other, it is important to call out the need to understand injustice and systemic racism that exists in our world. And the heaviness of the past weeks and the months, while it is much more in the center of the media today, has been the lived experience of people for lifetimes. And as someone who is continually unpacking their own privilege, it is not only a time to listen and learn. Yes, that is what we need to do. And it is also very much a time to participate in building systems of equity, inclusion, and basic humanity. So welcome to this community. I'm so excited to have these conversations today with all of you to share radical generosity. Something that we do regularly on these calls is we do something called one-word check-ins. Now, this one-word check-in is just sharing one word, something that's coming up for you right now, something that is on your mind. What are you feeling? How are you entering into this call? Something that's top of mind. So I invite you to share that in the chat function. Whatever is happening in your world, whatever is coming to mind for you, please go ahead and share that in our chat function. And for those of you that this is new, please take a moment. Scroll through the chat function, see where people are calling in from. Thank you for continuing to post that. See where people are at today. We come into these calls from so many different spaces, and then we enter into this space of community and seek to uplift each other. So thank you so much for sharing those one-word check-ins. So my role today, I'm going to pass over to a lot of different people and keep our conversation going. First up on our list of speakers and people who are going to share some information with us today, Vickie Saunders. Vickie, I invite you to pop in and share a little bit more about SheEO and what we're all here for.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. I'm going to share my screen. Is it showing here? Are we good? Yep. Okay, cool. Oops. Let me go back. Hi. How is everyone? I was looking through the one-word check-ins and I saw Samantha say nervously excited. Huh. And I felt that, and thank you for the start today, Julia. Oh boy, sorry. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a crier sometimes, and I'm feeling very much this way about the state of the world at the moment. We started SheEO largely because of many injustices we saw in front of us, one of which is our inability, despite study after study, research after research, the most unbelievable business models out there to show that women are an incredible investment. And yet, decades later, 1 out of $23 that's loaned out to businesses goes to women, less than 4% of venture capital. And if you're a woman of color, it's 0.02% or less, depending on what market you're in. And this is just one of the major challenges that are out there. And on top of that, the systems and structures that we're living in were not designed by us or for us, and they are melting in front of our eyes. So there's a huge, huge opportunity to rethink where we're putting our capital, and not just our money, but our buying power and our expertise and our networks and our influence and our connections to create a better world. And that's why we're here on this call and in this community. So thank you for joining us today. The model that we have at SheEO is a complete redesign to support women on their own terms. We only fund women who are working on the world's to-do list in the SheEO network. We fund women-led, majority women-owned ventures who are able to articulate how they're creating a better world. And we do that with not just our money, but with our buying power and our expertise and our influence, as I mentioned. And then we're doing this country by country and connecting women to export markets so that they can grow their businesses. So it's a completely redesigned model that takes an ecosystem approach. And it's very, very simple. For those who don't know it, it's roughly hundreds of women come together in each country. We started this whole model in Canada, so thank you to all the Canadian goddesses who stepped into this amazing, amazing model, which is now in 5 countries. We contribute $1,100 each per year, or $92 a month. $100 of that money goes towards SheEO operations, and we bootstrap the rest to cover our operations until we reach sustainability, which is at approximately 30,000 activators. The $1,000 of your $1,100 goes into a combined fund, and then it's loaned out at 0% interest to female entrepreneurs who are working on the world's to-do list, and they pay that money back over 5 years, and then we loan it out again. So it's just this constant flow of money. And instead of you getting a return on that money, the return is the positive impact that's happening and leaving this perpetual fund for generations to come. The timeline that we're in, you can activate at any time during the year, but we start to vote in November. So you can activate now, today, after this call, if you haven't already for this year. Join these calls each week. We have 1 cycle where ventures apply. We have 2 voting timeframes that are on this. And then we have a summit where we all get together and we see who we've selected, which may be digital, if we're always going to be in our homes for the rest of our lives, or maybe in person, who knows what the future is. But it's working really well online these days, so it's kind of fun. And throughout the year, we have all kinds of ways for you to engage, which we'll talk about a little bit more. This is a sort of breakdown by Sustainable Development Goals. If you don't know about the UN Sustainable Development Goals, these have been signed on by every country in the world as the top critical priorities on the planet, and we call this the world's to-do list. So we have lots of ventures that we funded across all different sectors, working on all kinds of really amazing solutions to challenges we're facing, and you'll hear from a couple of them today. Oops, You're going to hear from Patrice and Hannah. I don't know if this is, something's going on here. Sorry. To date, we have over 5,000 activators, and we've funded 68 women-led ventures across 5 regions. We have about $5 million out in flow in communities. And we get about 40 applications to SheEO for every one that we fund. And because we have hundreds of women going online to vote, one of the cool things that happens is we leave comments for ventures. So everybody who applies gets personalized feedback. So this is another expression of our radical generosity that we're very proud of. And we have a 95% repayment rate on the loan. So that money just keeps rolling forward. We've been doing these calls every single week since COVID, the pandemic was announced. This is an article that someone's on, if you could just mute that person, Julia or Jess, that would be great. We have an article that was written in Oprah magazine focused on one of our ventures who you're going to hear from today. And these calls have really been a great chance to get into small groups and support each other through this time. There's a lot of challenges that we're all facing, and it's really great to see the impact of a community like this where we have everything that we need at our fingertips. Here's an example of the energy that we feel often on these calls, lots and lots of people joining in. We're going to leave this deck with you after the call so that you can look through it, share it with friends if you'd like, and there's a video on here about our summit that we just had where we gathered over 800 women from around the world the day before the pandemic was announced. So we also have very good luck with our timing at SheEO, besides the fact that we have everything that we need in this community. Back to you, Julia.
Thank you so much. So we're going to continue on here from a few activators in the network, and really jumping off that last piece that Vicki shared, we really have everything we need in this community. And so I'm going to, BBG, I think I saw you on the line, speaking about being an activator, what it is that this has brought to you and your community. And to that piece on, this community really has everything you need. So BBG, would love to hear from you on your experience in SheEO in the community.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Julia.
Hi.
I'm out of Montreal. I've been an activator since 2018. I work in change as a change manager, but also as a sort of facilitator for women who are rethinking their careers. And I joined SheEO mainly because this notion of radical generosity just blew my mind. It has been a way that I saw the world even as a teenager, thinking, we could, if you have this and I have that and I need this and you need that, we can share it and everything will work. And to get to my 40s and realize that exists as a community, it was a big one for me. So I'm an introvert, so I did go to the summit, and the summit for me was amazing to see all these women, but it wasn't a way that I could connect in the way that I'm connecting on one-on-one. So what I do a lot is the connections on one-on-one. So Julia and I are speaking on Saturday morning when our toddlers are playing in the alley. I've been having one-on-one conversations with a lot of women. I've been sending random emails also to some of the members, just talking about how I feel, and this feeling part of a community, and also feeling part of a community where women find their strength and come into their power. And that's been a big one for me. I'm not very useful to the ventures other than thinking they're amazing. But the networking aspect of it, the being part of a community, the knowing that you always have someone to reach out to. I think there's not a single day when I don't speak about SheEO. I'm going to start tracking that metric, but I really think there isn't a single day. I facilitate some of the calls on Thursdays. Ever since the beginning of this pandemic, I've been on the calls as a regular. It's a highlight of my week. And it's interesting because we've gone from the ask give model that I'm sure you're going to talk about, but we've also had conversations that are really deep, and we don't know each other. We actually don't. And we're 8 women having conversations that you have with your closest friends or with your family. So it's something to behold. and I'm profoundly grateful for it. So that's it.
Thank you. Thank you, BBG. We're going to continue hearing from a few activators in the community. Adrienne Piccini, are you around?
Yes, hello.
Great. Would love to hear just quickly sort of your experiences being an activator in the community.
Sure. Thanks for selecting me in this big list of people. So for me, it's kind of three big things: the voting, the summit, and the impact. So it's a good like diversity of perspectives, because I'm actually all about the summit. It's such an amazing event. I think the most powerful part is being in a space where a different language is used and a different kind of narrative and story is being told, and everyone who walks into that event kind of adopts that language, and it's pretty amazing how that happens. And the other piece is when you go on the SheEO website and you read about the mindset shifts. If you haven't seen that before, you should check that out. It's really amazing. It's really inspirational on paper, but then when you actually are able to step into that space and see it played out in person, it just kind of shows like the integrity of SheEO as an organization, but all of the participants in SheEO, whether you're an activator or a venture, to actually see that played out in person is so inspirational. And then of course, voting is so awesome. And I urge new activators, if you can find other people to vote with, so attend one of the events that SheEO hosts. I'm lucky because my sister, my mom, and my grandmother are all activators. So we will, meet up and talk about the different ventures. It's really exciting to see what other people are working on, around the world, but also in Canada, of course. I work in affordable housing and social systems design. So a lot of the ventures, what they're working on really kind of resonates with what I'm trying to work on as well. And then I guess also just to echo BBG's point, like the impact when you go out and see in the world, you get to, go to a store and see they're selling a Bigo and you get so excited and you want to just celebrate that venture, and you get to actually purchase their products. And we went to Vancouver and we got to go to the Nata grocery store, and you're like, oh my gosh, part of the funds that I are giving is allowing this grocery store to exist here. So yeah, I would say that those pieces are important for me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Adrienne. And we are going to hear, for those of you who are like, what is voting? What does that mean? We'll talk about it. We'll get there. One more activator, entrepreneur on the line. Lynn Marie, would love to hear from you. What is SheEO doing for you these days?
Thanks, Julia. Hi, everybody. My name is Lynn Marie Angus. I'm from the Gitga'ala, Nisga'a, and Métis Nations. I'm the co-founder of Sister Sage out here in New Westminster. We're an Indigenous wellness brand. And what we do is create handmade soaps and salves and bath bombs and smokeless smudge sprays. So we're really taking our traditional knowledge and creating modern self-care products. I was invited to join SheEO and I really had no idea about it. So I just kind of jumped into it. And the first big event I attended was the summit in March, and it was amazing. I met so many women. I received so much support from it. Tira Fraser from SheEO Air, she is the person who invited me to join SheEO. And so I texted her one night during the summit, before the summit started, and I was like, what am I gonna do? I don't know anybody here. And she just texted me back. She's like, Lynn Marie, get ready because you're about to make hundreds of new friends. And honestly, I did. And with the help and support of everyone that I've met, Sister Sage is celebrating our biggest month yet from last month, and I'm just over the moon with everything that's happened so far. So I really want to urge you to activate or become a venture, because just the community that is created here is just, it's helped me so much. And I don't know if a lot of you feel this, but I feel this. Being a female entrepreneur, I feel lonely often. And so this community has really created just a network of women that I can go and ask any question anytime to and just receive that support. So I want to thank SheEO for all of the support given.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lynn Marie. And it's so wonderful to hear that you had someone prep you for the fact that you're about to make hundreds of new friends. And it sounds like it's deeper than friendship. It's mentorship. It's community. It's this connection point as an entrepreneur that really helps to fuel and continue helping you be able to do the work that you're doing and putting your things out there, which is awesome to see. Thank you so much. So every week on these calls, we also hear from activators. We always hear from activators, but on these calls, we hear from our ventures, and we love hearing the updates. These are the women identifying entrepreneurs who we're supporting. We have come together to help them do their work in whatever way we possibly can. So we're going to hear from a couple of ventures today. First up, Patrice. Would love to hear from you. Satya, let's hear what has it been like being a venture, and share your story, please.
Yes, thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Patrice. My company is Satya Organics, and I make the only certified organic Health Canada approved topical anti-inflammatory on the market for people with skin issues like eczema and psoriasis and rosacea, things that you would normally use steroids for. And I created this because I wanted my daughter to have a safer alternative than those steroids or something else that was there, on the market that's just full of parabens and chemicals and fragrance and garbage. So I started that in my crock pot in my kitchen. And my background is not in business. In fact, I worked for many years as a broadcast journalist, and I had no experience in business. I didn't ever think that I was going to be a business person. But then I met some amazing women who Madeline Shaw, who was another one of the ventures, and I was inspired to create my own business with things that I could get behind, like integrity and values and trying to do good in the world, which are all the reasons why I became a journalist, but that didn't actually end up working out that way. But yes, with my business, things get done in the world for people and help people. Now, being that I don't have any experience in business and no assets, because I'm a single mom as well, there was no way that I would ever have gotten funding from banks to move forward with my business. SheEO saw my business, saw who I was and what I was trying to do, and believed in me and gave me the opportunity to grow my business. And the money was fantastic. You can't deny that, but the community that grew up around me because of that, like I instantly had a family of, my venture cohort, and then we had all the activators that were a part of that business, and then the larger network as well. And also, one of the things that I really have to talk about SheEO, and it's not just the money, it's not just the community and the opportunity that's there for your business, because there are infinite opportunities, but also the way that it has changed my mindset. It was mentioned loneliness, and I think loneliness also makes us feel not powerful in our own lives. In this community, I feel powerful. In this community, I feel like I can actually make real change in the world and do things better. And I just feel like SheEO is just so, I have no words. It's incredible. I'm so glad you're all here. It's great to see this family expanding. I've been hoping that we can get more people seeing and listening to what actually goes on in these calls, because it's pretty stellar. So thanks, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And it is, I think stellar is like an understatement of what happens on these calls. And from a venture perspective, there was one comment a couple of weeks ago on one of these calls where someone said, I just want one single directory of women-owned businesses through SheEO, and I just want to buy from them exclusively, because there's buying power, and being able to support women-led ventures in this climate is where we need to go. So thank you so much, Patrice, for the work you do, the contribution you make through your product and then also in the system change that we are all looking for and building together. So thank you for that. All right, we're gonna go across Canada a little bit again to Hannah at Common Good, one of our other ventures. Hannah, would love to hear your story, share that with this wonderful group here today, and a little bit about being a venture from your perspective.
Absolutely. I'm so honored and so excited. There's like over 100 people on this call. I am the co-founder of Common Good, which is one of last year's Canadian ventures. And we have had quite a year and going through everything that we went through. We employ people that are facing incredible trauma that's been caused by homelessness or poverty, and we provide meaningful employment through a commercial laundry service that's tailored to the restaurants. So their linens like napkins, chef jackets, all of that we would launder. And we got hit really hard during COVID. The SheEO summit that happened in March, I was there actually really pitching a bigger vision for SheEO. That's one of the things that I've learned is that I need to dream bigger, I need to go bigger. And the moment I got home, within the first 36 hours of COVID and our province shutting down, we lost 75% of our clients. And then by the end of the week, it was 95%. And I remember this venture call that happened on the Monday of all the ventures coming together. And all of us were going through the same things. We have models that are deeply rooted in community, that employ people that are doing environmental pieces. And the fact that we were faced with laying off and changing our models and all of these other devastating things, that we were crying on these calls and figuring out what we need to do. And B from A-Linker and so many other ventures were texting each other, and we're doing all these other pieces. And B was just like, this is family. What do you need? What do you need for this? And essentially paid our payroll for that month so that we didn't have to make any quick decisions, that we could ensure that there was the right things in place for us. And then, that's just one part of so many things that have happened, because my lessons in SheEO have really been about dreaming bigger, but also that we have everything we need in this network. It didn't matter what I asked for, if it was around cash flow or public speaking, or if I just needed a shoulder to cry on. The difference for me in SheEO, as opposed to being a part of other entrepreneur networks for myself, is that it's always like, what do you need? How can I help you? And people have just shown up for us, and it's allowed us we need to reimagine our model. And we are now given that time and space to do that, and to have other ventures and activators texting and coming alongside of me has been life-changing. And this last year, our Common Good would not be here if it wasn't for the radical generosity of this community and the people that are leading it. And so I am just really grateful for everyone and the activators that are on this call. And it's all about this network. So thank you.
Thank you, Hannah. I love that connection of mindset shift equals systems shift. And especially seeing the impact on your business and how that came together, this community came together and rallied, was really beautiful to witness. It was really wonderful, and thank you for the continued work that you do and the contribution that you make. Okay, thank you to everyone who shared a little bit about their journey with SheEO. We're going to have a chance now to get into some breakout groups. This is where the hashtag SheEO magic really happens in these breakout groups, the connection point, the building community. So each group will have a facilitator. That facilitator is going to have a chance just to introduce themselves, any questions that you might have about all of this. And what we're going to do in these small groups is practice what we call ask and give. So this really is radical generosity. If you need something, ask for it. If you have something to offer, give it. Really simple and a really beautiful model for just sharing in community with each other. At the end of our small groups, we're going to ask that you come up with a 3-word summary, or some way, ideally in 3 words or less, to summarize what happened in your small group, what you're walking away with, anything like that, so we can bring that back to the larger group and share that for a piece of motivation and inspiration together. So Jessie, any other notes before we head off into our breakout group?
I just want to say that because the testimonials were so beautiful, we are running a little bit tight on time. So we're going to have 20 minutes and each group has 9 radically generous women. So please just be mindful of time and make sure everyone has a chance to speak. Opening up the groups up now. We'll see you back here in 20 minutes, everyone. Thank you.
See you soon.
Gallery view is always good because then you get to kind of see everybody. So my name is Katie Baker and I'm an activator with SheEO. It's been my privilege, my pleasure to become part of this amazing, amazing community. I know you've heard testimonial from other activators and from ventures, so the power of their words, I just want to amplify by saying it's an incredible community. I think for me, what really connected every dot was it's something I wanted to do for some time, is lean into a community where I could give time, I could give talent, I could give financial resources to a community of women who want to do powerful things, as Vicki said, to check off the world's to-do list. So without any further ado, I want to pass it to another activator. Pauline, maybe you can introduce yourself. And again, being mindful of time, we'll try to keep our, so I want to promote the Ask Give, obviously. My give is that I work in exporting, and if you are interested in exporting, please reach out to me, and I give my time, my talent, in terms of helping you with your entrepreneurial endeavors for exporting. But I'll pass it to you, Pauline, to introduce yourself.
Hi. So this is actually my second time joining only. So I joined. Huh?
And you're an activator.
Yeah, well, I've always felt like even though I don't have all that much, I still have a lot to give. So I feel super fortunate. So I joined in 2020. I just opened my business. I actually took over my old company this year. So February 24th is when we changed over. So I run a lab in Mississauga where we produce injectable medications for hospitals, clinics, things like that.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think my give is, I've always specialized in operations. So running the companies, everything from supply chain to production, and working on efficiencies that way. So if anybody needs help with that kind of stuff, I can see how I can help.
Perfect. Pauline, you get to pass the baton, the talking stick, on to someone else.
I'll pass it to Renee.
Hi, everybody. I've known about SheEO for, I guess, just over a year, and I was also at the summit, and I'm
shoulder information, whatever it is that you need from a professional venture. If you're thinking, last call, there was a woman who was thinking of going into business, and so she was toying with different ideas, and she wanted somebody to help her think about that. A principle to keep in mind is that the more specific you are, the easier it is to help you with what you need. So sometimes it's, I want to speak to the CEO of this organization. Think big. And I've seen it happen. And someone was like, yeah, I know him. I'll put you in contact. So some crazy stuff. So be as specific as you can. It's okay if you don't have an ask or a give, that's fine. The idea is to practice it and see, how it works for you and how we can connect through that. The give is the flip side, which is usually the easy part. And that is, what resources do you have? What does your network look like? Contacts, I have access to Zoom platform and I don't use it. So it's, I use it sometimes. If somebody needs the Zoom platform, let me know and I'll, set you.
You were in? I was with Paulina.
Hello, sorry, which group were you with?
With Paulina?
Is that Fauzia speaking?
Yes, can you hear me or no?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
No problem.
Don't know quite what you have to offer. You do, just because you're on this, that you will, it's a support that you don't feel lonely. And if I was to give anything, it would be hope that we're all going to come through this if we have the support of everyone on this network. So yeah, that's and I guess I'll pass it over to Susan.
Hi, I'm Susan. I'm out in Ottawa, feeling a little bit tired with all the things happening around. I am I'm an activator, but I am so what I have, I don't know what I have to give right now, but I'm also working on getting Canadian companies that want to look at different markets in Africa and stuff like that. So if you've always wanted to go into Africa or look for different markets out there and you don't know where to start, we are doing videos that we're going to put together to match with people on the continent that are looking for opportunities, and we're working with global affairs. This week has been a little bit heavy. I have a daughter in Halifax that has had to fight. She's at Dalhousie, and this week she had to fight just to ask for some time to deal with being away from home with everything that is happening there, and we have family in the US. So I'm a little, usually I'm a little bit, maybe not too extra, but a little bit more upbeat than I am now. So, my word at the beginning was just tired. Some days feel like that, but I'm glad I'm here. And like everybody else, that the day that I put on my LinkedIn that I'm an activator, things move differently, and your conversations, even with people that don't know about SheEO, move differently. So that's where I am today.
Thank you so
I
much.
will pass it on to Cindy.
Thanks, Susan. And I appreciate everybody sharing about being an activator on LinkedIn. I'm not on there as often as I should be. And I've never updated my profile to include that. I've been an activator for 2 years now. So I'm going to go and do that because that's sounds like it's pretty powerful. So my business is lightbulbfinance.ca, or Lightbulb Finance, my website is .ca. And I provide essentially outsourced CFO services to small and medium-sized businesses, but all of it is focused on making sure that you get good quality information. The business owners get good quality information from their financials to really understand how to make decisions going forward. So I don't have any asks today really, but I'm certainly open to talking to anybody about financial matters related to their business for half an hour or so. If anybody has any questions that they would like answered.
Thanks, Cindy. Who would you like to pass to?
Oh, I will pass
that.
I have a question, actually. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm still exploring, I'd love to be and stay part of the SheEO community. I'm still exploring roles, potentially an activator in the future, and also potentially a venture. So I have a question. If I have an idea that is mulling and stewing in the background that could become a venture, out there, how can I tap into some of the expertise as a guest, if you will, of the community? Not an activator, obviously not a funded venture, but somebody who's part of that larger community. and say, you know, I'd really like to get some input on potential business models for this idea?
So at the moment, the only way to really access the whole network and to do through our Ask Give platform is if you're an activator or an adventure. So it's $92 a month to be part of this community, or the one-time $1,100. We don't have a platform that's outside of that at the moment for people, but you're on a call like this. So maybe if you have a specific ask around something, you have people on this call who maybe will give you a bit of time.
One quick question.
Yeah.
The activator amount, the 1,100, is it every year or just one time?
It depends on what you want to do.
I
on your own terms.
I heard mixed things. That's why I was very confused as to what it was. The expectation anyway. So.
It's totally up to you what you want to do. If you want to do it one time or if you want to do it every year.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for clarifying. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Jen, did you have something there? No?
Yeah. So one of the things I have in the platform that the guests might not know about is it's a SheEO platform in which you can post your asks and your gives, and you can post them in Canada. They can be international. And so one of the gives that I have offered on that platform for SheEO members is a 60-minute marketing strategy session. I've worked with about 7 or 8 women within the activator community all across Canada, even up in the Yukon. And over the years that I've been with SheEO, I've also worked with a couple of ventures around marketing strategies. So if that's something that's a calling for you and that would be a benefit, I'll put my email address in the chat, and it's listed on the Give platform.
Great.
Thanks, Jen. That's very nice of you. Anyone else have any comments, gives or receives or asks?
Mine's more a comment in regards to just where I am in my own journey. So I think just being here right now and absorbing what I can, in the meantime at least, is going to give me a bit of perspective in terms of what I have in terms of resources at my fingertips that I can potentially tap into at some point. So personally, because I'm initiating my transition into becoming a full-time coach, I'm kind of in that.
And hey, Jesse, that was such a good segue. I had just finished a sentence and you popped in.
Your nonprofit for women entrepreneurs, is it based out of Toronto or what?
Yeah, good question. Thanks. It's based out of Vancouver, but we support women across the entire country.
Okay, great.
Mm-hmm. And I've been an activator with SheEO since 2008, I think, or one of those early years, whatever the first year was.
And is it agnostic? Is it specific sectors for the women?
It is agnostic as sector. Yeah. Yeah. We've seen a pretty broad variety, and I love that we have so many ventures or activators that are part of the SheEO group too within that. Yeah. Oh, nice. Okay, we've got our emails in here.
Jesse, I think what came up was the Ask Give app. I think we were just wondering if we were going to go over that at the end, or if somebody could pop it into the chat.
So the Ask Give platform is just for activators and ventures.
Okay.
So, yeah. So
maybe I can mention the public. So the one with the Women Entrepreneurship Knowledge Hub, I actually just saw the email. I don't know if you've seen it yet, Jesse. It just launched publicly. That is open for everyone. I will try to get the link here in between. So inspired by the work that SheEO has done, there was a desire across Canada to create a platform that would enable women entrepreneurs to connect. So the Women Entrepreneurship Knowledge Hub, which for those who aren't aware is based at actually Ryerson, and is an organization that supports women entrepreneurs, and FWE in partnership with them and with support from SheEO of building it, created the platform for all women entrepreneurs to access. So you don't need to be part of any organization, or you can be a part of an organization.
Hi, Tracy. Did you need to be redirected to your group? Tracy, are you there? You're on mute.
To share about that. I think that would be really of interest to many people. If you could share that in the chat function, that would be fantastic.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, Brooke, would love to hear from you. How did you come to hear about SheEO, and any ask or give that you have today?
I am from Kingston, Ontario, and I attended a webinar put on by a local activator here in Kingston, and I was really interested in it, and I've recently joined there's in partnership, I guess, with SheEO and Tiara Fraser, there was an Indigenous call that happened on Sunday, so I took part in that call, and so I'm going to become an activator, so I'm here just to learn, and I own and run a business that's considered accessibility in media. So it's a broadcast company, but we provide closed captions and describe video for broadcast television. So I've been running this company. I also have a passion in television production that I have experience from years ago, and I'm working on some new treatments and just really interested in supporting women entrepreneurs and their products and learning more. And yeah. I'm looking for, yeah.
And then around that, any sort of specific ask or give that you might have? What do you need?
Gosh, I don't know. I guess business-wise right now, I'm looking for social media help.
Okay.
I know I need to do more of it. My marketing plan has always been just going after the handful of broadcasters in Canada, and we've had relationships with all of them at one point. So now just looking to find strategies and ways that we can have more visibility so that we can provide services. For example, this meeting could be, if it was needed, we could do live captioning to these types of calls if you had such a need, you know, things like that, just getting the word out and coming up with a plan. I guess that would be my ask, contacts there. And give, I'm not sure. I hope that joining as an activator will be my first give.
Absolutely, totally. And regarding the social media, any sort of responses around the room to that particular piece? There are a lot of entrepreneurs and people with an entrepreneurial mindset in the room. I'm sure that's probably a common experience in this day and age of social media.
A lot of the Vancouver-based SheEO ventures use a firm called Hot Soup. And I know Patrice uses them, Sonia uses them, and a few other ventures, and they say really, really, really good things. It's just a small agency here in Vancouver. But I think, anyways, they just seem, that's the sort of buzzy name that I've heard recently.
That was called Hot Soup, Madeline?
Hot Soup.
Hot soup.
Who doesn't like hot soup? Patrice could tell you more. Actually, Patrice would, or Sonia would be able to give you more of a direct reference for them or a contact.
I'll check it out. Thank you.
Awesome. I'm hearing today in this group a lot of connection, sharing. Any other sort of words or pieces that really are standing out for you on today's call that we can come back to in the large group?
I think connection and community go well together.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I'm writing things down. Connection, community.
Oh, wow. A few groups are already back early. Amazing. So everyone will be back here with us within the next minute. Does everyone have their 3-word summary? I will take that as a yes.
Hello. Welcome back, everyone. Wow. Great conversations, wonderful connections made. So what we're going to do is just share a little bit, hear from some of the groups. Maybe just one representative, could be your facilitator, to pop in and just share a 3-word summary. We're going to keep this tight because I think we had nine groups. So just what was your 3-word summary? Any reflections from those wonderful breakout discussions? And we can start anywhere.
I think it might be easier. I'll just read off each group's and then.
Please, that would be great.
Okay, BBG's group. You may be on mute.
Sorry. Yes, I am on mute. Pivoting and emotions. That's the 2. I don't have 3. That was really the 2.
Great. Denise.
Sorry, could you repeat those 2 again? I didn't hear them.
Pivoting and emotions.
Thank you.
Denise's group.
We talked about white privilege, how to navigate that conversation.
Thank you, Denise. Bailey.
Our 3 words were discovery, connection, and gratitude. Mostly just discovering the Ask Give model in general, and already some natural connections of people who were going through similar experiences. So we will see.
Thanks, Bailey. Julia.
Very reflective of Bailey's group as well. Connecting, community, and gratitude.
Tanya.
3 words were support, ignite, and distribute.
Patrice.
Support, resources, and fun.
Vickie.
Support, discovery, and sharing. There's a theme.
Thread emerging here. Hannah.
We talked so much in our group, we didn't get to the 3 words, so I'm just, making these words up of how I feel from it, but same thing, sharing, connection, and supported.
Thanks, Hannah. Katie.
Same as Hannah, but powerful connections made.
Awesome. Janaki.
Our words were hope, curiosity, and breathe.
Paulina.
We landed on 2, dawn and compassion, and if we were to add a 3rd, I'm sure it would be support.
Beautiful. Back to you, Julia. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much. And some folks did share their 3-word summary in the chat function. If you haven't had a chance to, please go for it. Some incredible conversations, and we've heard a lot over the last couple of months on the need for support and connection and community, feeling this isolation. And this community has really come together and stepped up to answer that call. So we're gonna hear from one more person before the end of the call. Just as we are wrapping up today, just wanted to hear once again from Patrice. Just what do we do? How do you get involved? How do you go from here with all of this inspiration and wisdom around the room? What do we do with that?
Well, I definitely think that you should activate if you can, or find, honestly, for that little bit, you are literally changing the world. I'm a venture, so I'm in this like from the beginning, but I activate every year. It's just such a wonderful opportunity to be a part of this community, and you will get so much more back, like the resources, the people that are there for you, and the connections. So if you just go to the website, I'm sure Jessie can help anybody out there right now who wants to be a part of this on a regular basis. We do these calls every week, and it is literally the highlight of my week. And I would not be where I am with my business without this network. There is no question whatsoever. And I certainly wouldn't be as mentally healthy as I am through, especially moving through COVID, without the support and the community and the family of SheEO. So I encourage you to please come and be a part of the family, because we need you. We need you. We need your brains. We need your hearts. Thanks.
Thank you so much. And if any of you have any questions about SheEO, connecting with the community, what that looks like, you can probably ping anyone on this call that you've seen or heard from today. and they, I'm sure, would gladly share of their hearts what this community is all about. So I think Jessie is going to just share a feedback form. We're always co-creating and love feedback. That's what this community is also all about. So if you'd like to continue to have calls like this, what do you want them to look like? We want to continue to open up this space for women identifying folks to come together in community. So any way that we can do that, whether you are an activator, a venture, a guest, please share your feedback and share your thoughts about what we're doing. And before we end, I'm just going to throw back to Vicki for some final thoughts.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. And I wanted to do a special call out for those of you who may have the privilege of more capital on hand these days than others. If you could please look at how you could be supporting women who are running businesses, women of color, Indigenous women. Please look at who you're buying from and support them. And if you see entrepreneurs out there who could really use the benefit of a well-resourced community like ours, please invite them in, sponsor them in if you can. You can gift an activation on our website, but please be very mindful. This is a huge moment for us to redesign the world, and it's not going to happen with just white women at the table. We need a much more inclusive group of people, and we'd greatly appreciate your support with that. Thank you. Take care of you.
Thank you, Vicki. And before we leave, I would love to take a group photo. This call reached our current Zoom capacity of 100. So we know the social post that's going to be is that we had so much interest on the call, we had to upgrade our Zoom account to welcome in more radically generous women. So with that, we have 4 screens of radically generous women. If you've been on one of these calls before, you know how it goes. Please share an expression, how you're feeling at the end of this call, whether it's your arms up or you have a heart for your radical generosity, the gratitude, the support. We're going to do 4 counts of 3. You might be on this first screen here. So 1, 2, 3. And if you just want to hold that, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. There's 2 more. 3. And one final one. 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining, setting a new record for one of these SheEO calls. Please share your feedback on the forum and take care. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, everybody. Bye now.
Incredible job.